Hello everyone, the Kentucky Patriot here. I'm going to try to bring you a comparison video because you hear this a lot. AK, AR. Even questions all the time I'm getting, I'm sure you do too. If somebody's looking for a rifle for their first gun, or this maybe type of 30 round standard capacity magazine type rifle, what should I get, the AK or the AR? So I'm going to try to answer some questions. I'm going to tell you some likes, some dislikes, some opinions, some facts. But to be honest with you, if you're already typing, hurry and get to the point, or you're typing, you talk too much, or just give us the facts, to be honest with you, this video is probably not going to be for you, because I'm going to do my best to get right in here and talk about these guns and show you some things and tell you a little bit about them. But my channel, my platform isn't like a college professor just giving you lessons and just giving you facts and just telling you. I want to be more like you're my neighbor and you come over to visit and we're having a cup of coffee and we're just talking about guns, okay? So sometimes I'll go on a little bit longer than you like, and I don't mean to. I just enjoy coffee. I just enjoy guns. I enjoy you guys, so please just be patient and bear with me. But when I talk about comparing these two guns, it's kind of a little bit difficult, and I don't know why they always get lumped in as a comparison, because it's almost like comparing apples to oranges. This really isn't an apple-apple comparison. How they're built, the round they shoot, there's so many contrasts. I really don't know why they get compared so much. But I'll tell you a little bit about both, and and maybe their applications and stuff. So we'll just jump right into it. And when I talk about these rifles, the AK-47 and the AR-15, I'm going to talk about what comes to my mind is the AR-15 in 5.56 and the AK in 7.62 by 39. Now I know there's the AK-74 and the AR-10. There's different calibers you can get, but I'm just telling you the standard, what I think of AR 5.56, AK 7.62 by 39. And I'll start out with talking about maybe a home application, whether it's home defense or home protection or however how you categorize it. But which one should I get? Well, this is actually, it's still an AK-47, but this is actually classified as a pistol. And most of the time when I think of home defense, I think of an AR-15. They're collapsible stock. They're like this one. It's got a holographic scope. It's got a laser. It's got a rail. There's so many accessories you can get on those. Of course, for home defense, I'm just a plain Jane. I just like iron sights myself. But you do whatever you want. But flashlights and all these things, these are so accessible. With any accessory you want to put on there, if they don't make it for an AR or a Glock, then they don't make it. I mean, you know what I mean. And and the 5.56 is around that. It's easy to shoot, quick follow-up shots. You see my 6-year-old son, he's 7 now, shoot it, no problem. I mean, like I said, you can adjust it to fit and shoot and maneuver. It's a great close quarters weapon. But when I think of home defense, I pretty much think of AR-15, except in this type of configuration. Now, a lot of people says, well, that's just a gimmick. They say the same thing about the Shockwave, the 12 gauge, but I beg to differ. When you start thinking of a close quarters, now I'm not saying you can't aim like this, but you can shoot this one laying down. You can shoot this so many different ways. Behind cover, you can peek around, come over, whatever you need to do. And if you look, this is classified as a pistol. There's no stock or brace right here. If you look how you can maneuver around corners or behind cover, I think this is not a gimmick. I think this is an actual very viable option for home defense. Throw this in your truck. What a great truck gun. You throw this in your camper. It's not going to take up a whole lot of room. You can put this just basically anywhere and still have 30 rounds magazine of an AK-47. Still a lot of firepower in this little configuration. Something you may not know about the AK-47, the AR-15 platform. The AR-15 platform is a Eugene Stoner design. This is a Kalashnikov. This is a piston-driven. This is a gas-driven. So when they talk about reliability, you've heard the people probably all over say you can dig these out of the sand and they'll still run. Well, that's pretty much true. An AK-47 is an absolute beast. It really is. I'm sure you're familiar with Iraq veteran 8888. Years ago when he was at Moss Pond, there's a guy that I absolutely love by the name of Barry. And I love Barry. I mean, he was a wealth of knowledge. You learn a lot from him, but man, he was just so fun, just this really likable guy. I never did get to meet the guy, but man, when I heard he passed, man, it just broke my heart. I felt like he was my friend. I felt like I knew that guy. But anyway, I got tickled at Barry one time. He compared an AK-47 to a biker chick and the AR-15 to a prom queen. And that's no disrespect. It was just absolutely hilarious. But that was his analogy. This is a biker chick. This is a beauty queen. But anyway, but now I will tell you this, that these are stone cold reliable. This piston driven system is very reliable. But I will tell you this, I have seen an AK fail. So when you hear these people say Glocks never fail, or revolvers never fail, or AKs never fail, I have seen with my own eyes a Glock fail, a revolver fail, and an AK fail. And it wasn't no big catastrophic failure, you know, maybe failure to eject or something. You just know how to manipulate and work your firearm. You know, you go right on. It wasn't a catastrophic failure. But anything mechanically made by man can fail. So even though they may be stone cold reliable and shoot 10,000 rounds, still there's always a possibility that something can happen, a hang for whatever, double feed, failure to feed, failure to eject. So always know how to manipulate your firearm. Both of these guns are unloaded, I checked. But this is right here on the side. Most of you know how AK works. You just chamber that round and it's ready to go. But I'll tell you something you may not know about an AK. It's not, and if you're not familiar with them, it's not difficult or anything. It's just different than your AR-15. But the magazine, when you take it out and you put it in, you don't just grab the magazine and shove it in like you do on your AR-15 or your Glocks or whatever. You actually, I've heard people call it different things, but basically you rock it in. So if you notice, I'm not coming in a straight angle like you would with an AR-15. You actually have to come in like this and you rock it into place. So it's hard to kind of show on the camera, but instead of just coming straight in, like the banana clip they call them, you bring it in like this and then it locks right in. It's not difficult, it's just different, but if you're not used to it, it's something you need to get used to a little bit. Like I said, I'm not saying one system's better or worse than the other, although the AR-15 is awful easy. But you know, this has been added, but you've got some accessory rails here too if you want a scope or a flashlight or a laser or whatever. Not saying you can't accessorize your AK-47s, but like I said, if you're looking for a gun that you want to upgrade, or if you want to add parts to, you like to tinker with, or you like accessories, I'd say your best bet then would be the AR-15. When it comes to the round they shoot, again, this is a 5.56, this is 7.62 by 39. For home defense, there's some myths there too. People will tell you, they'll ask questions about, well, which one about over penetration, or what if I miss, or blah blah blah. I promise you, you don't have to take my word for it. We shot some sheetrock on camera. You can watch other people videos on YouTube. Either one of these rounds, no matter which one it is, will shoot through more sheetrock than you have walls. Okay, so I don't care if you've got 5 walls. And then your bedroom's on the other side of 5 walls, both of these rounds will go through sheetrock like hot butter. So don't think either one of these rounds, well, I'm going to get this gun so that way if I miss, that's why you got to always know your target and what's behind it and the direction you're shooting, because sheetrock will not stop either one of these rounds, I promise you. That's why I shot the sheetrock on camera to try to dispel myths, and I've heard, you probably have too, well, the 5.56 shoots a frangible bullet, so when it hits something like sheetrock, it just fragments and disintegrates and your kids are safe on the other side. I'm telling you, that is an absolute myth. Don't believe it. Even people said that in good faith, thinking that's really what happened. They didn't know what they were talking about. I'm not calling anybody out or being mean, but I want you to be safe. Do not think either one of these rounds are going to be stopped by sheetrock. The other thing, a myth that I don't know really where it got started, was the AK-47 isn't accurate. And I don't claim to be an expert marksman or anything special, but if your AK's working right at 100 yards, you should have some good groups. I mean, it's not going to do maybe what your custom-made precision rifle is going to do, but your AK should be plenty reliable enough to, do anything you need to do as far as reliability and accuracy. I mean, accuracy should not be a problem with your AR, and if it is, you might want to check your sights or something, or your AK. But your AK, to me, they're reliable and accurate. Like I said, a lot of people question the accuracy, but like I said, maybe not like a precision rifle, but they at 100 yards, they should be able to do whatever you need done. A myth about the AR-15, And a lot of things, times, there aren't really myths or lies, but it's a different situation than it is now. Because you'll hear probably some people from Vietnam saying that their M16, like I said, the M16, the M4, the AR-15 platform, was a Eugene Stoner design, and they'll tell you that they had problems with it or it had reliability issues. Well, reliability issues back then, you have to look, they were in swamp, water, mud, a lot of adverse conditions that you're not going to be in, number one. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the gas system. People say, well, the piston system's so much better. That's up for debate. I won't argue either way. But I don't think it's fair to compare what happened in Vietnam and the design of an M16 back then, trying to compare it with a modern day rifle that you get today. I'm telling you, there's companies that you can get that make you a quality AR-15. There's several of them that's going to be reliable for you. So really, as far as comparing these reliability, I mean, they're both stone cold reliable. So I wouldn't steer away from the AK because somebody tells you they're not accurate. I wouldn't steer away from the AR-15 because somebody tells you they're not reliable. And like I said, don't pay any attention to anybody tells you can shoot one or the other through walls and you'll be okay, because you won't be. And I do want to tell you this is also a myth, and people will tell you, well, the AR-15 isn't a capable round to put down the thread. It won't do this or it won't do that. It's not powerful enough, or it won't do this or it won't do that. And I don't want to argue or cause any problems or any rifts, but I've even had a guy tell me one time, he said that there's no such thing as a temporary cavity in ballistics gel. And when you're talking about shooting ballistics gel, somebody's going to say, well, ballistics gel isn't the perfect test medium. Clear ballistics gel is not the perfect test medium. I understand that. Neither is water jugs. But it still tells you what it tells you, okay? But if you've never seen it, make sure you check it out on YouTube. They're all over YouTube. When they're shooting clear ballistics gel, what I'm talking about, a temporary cavity, when they say they don't exist, I have no idea what they're talking about. Watch it on a slow motion camera. When they shoot a 5.56 into ballistics gel, you got this temporary cavity that swells way up and it starts making waves, and then the block then it settles back down and stops, and after they go on, they have what they call a permanent cavity. I mean, it's good to check out the permanent cavity, but what I'm telling you is when you have a high velocity round like a 5.56, when it hits that initial target, then when they say it's a frangible bullet, it's not going to frangible. The frangible bullet happens when it hits like water or ballistics gel or whatever, but when it hits something soft like sheetrock, it's going to zip right through. Water stops bullets. Flesh, is a whole different substance than sheetrock. But when it hits that clear ballistics gel, what happens is it stretches out that cavity. It's called hydrostatic shock. When it hits that, the damage is it. Now then it goes back to then it shows the permanent cavity. But make sure you watch that under slow motion, because when that initial hit, that's what's happening when it hits flesh, when it hits it. So it's going to disrupt the vascular system. So even though you're shooting a small bullet, a 5.56 is a small bullet. Even if you're shooting a huge grain, like 78 is a big grain for this. But 5.56, whether it's 78 grain or 62 grain or 55 grain, it's still going at such velocities that it's absolutely going to cause that hydrostatic shock that's going to disrupt, and the vascular system, like I said, is going to experience that. Of course, you'll have the permanent cavity too, but that temporal cavity is important and it is real. Like I said, it's very real. That's why I'm telling you both of these rounds are more than capable. I will show you this real quick on the AR-15, and this is probably easier to learn, easier to get used to, and easier to reload. But in the event that 30 rounds wouldn't be enough, or 25 rounds wouldn't be enough, whatever you load in your magazines, is very slim. But if you do want to reload this, like I said, you don't have to rock this. This one, you don't have to come up like this and bring it at an angle. Literally, on the AR-15, M4, M16 platform, it's literally, you hit this button, drop your magazine, that's it. That's it. You just pull it out, push it in. I mean, it's literally that simple. I mean, you push this button, it drops, you just put another one back in, and there is no rock, there is nothing to get used to. That's all it is. Of course, you're all probably familiar with this, but on AR-15, that's the bolt carrier. You pull back right here, and it puts a round into your chamber, and then you fire, magazine out, magazine in, fire. That's how it works. Here on the side, the AK, again, this is the safety here, up and down. You just grab this right here and you just chamber around and it's ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. So my opinion is this isn't, and most times you don't see the pistols like this. This is exactly like I said, still an AK, but this is just a pistol, classified as a pistol. Most time you'll see them in a rifle form like you do the AR-15. But to me, this isn't a gimmick. To throw in to your camper, to throw in your truck, to have this as a bug out bag, I think this is a very reliable option. And really, when I think I mentioned this, but when I think of home defense, I think of an AR-15 with the collapsible stock, the movability, the lightweight. Well, this thing right here, I don't think it's a gimmick because it's lightweight. It's absolutely easy to get around. It's easy to maneuver around cover, to come up, to be able to shoot, to hold, and you've got a lot of firepower in a very small package here. And like I said, to have a gun this reliable with this much firepower to be able to throw in your camper, your bug out bag, or even as a home defense weapon or close quarters, to be able to get around with it. I think it's very maneuverable and I really like it. So basically, it's not really comparing apples to apples, but if you're wanting a gun to accessorize and buy accessories and really customize it, I think your choice is going to be better with the AR-15. Talking about ammo, when people ask me, do I shoot steel? And I'm not being a gun snob, but the long story, short story version is no. I do not shoot steel in my rifles. I do not shoot steel in my pistols. I don't shoot steel in any platform except this. Now, this, I shoot steel all day, every day. And that's what it's designed for. It's what it's made for. I have no worries, stress, problems over shooting steel all day, every day in this gun. And it's cheap. This thing isn't ammo specific. It'll absolutely run it all day, every day. So I do shoot steel in AK-47 platforms without hesitation, without worry. Everything else I do not shoot steel out of. So, ammo selection. There's really a lot. I was talking about pros and cons. There's really just a bunch of pros with these guns, and just because one's different than the other doesn't mean one's wrong. Just because one is piston driven, and the other one's a gas operating system, and because one you have to rock the magazine in, the other one you just slide it right in. Because one the charging handle's right here, and the other one the charging handle's right here. I just don't really see how you can go wrong either way. So what I'm telling you, there's people that's in the AK camp. There's even clubs and groups of people that get together and shoot their AKs. So if you ask them, they're going to tell you all the reasons you should get an AK and why AK is the best, and they're going to give you all kinds of opinions and reasons why AK is the best. Well, it's the same thing with the AR-15. You got your AR guys and competition shooters, 3 guns, and they're going to tell you why you should have an AR-15 and why it's the best and why they're going to tell you all the pros about it. But really, my opinion, it all boils down to this. Depends on what I was going to use it for. If I just wanted to go out and shoot stuff and just blow up fruit and just have a good day, man, I'm telling you, you cannot beat an AK-47. And have a little gun like this, like I said, camper, bug out bag, and these things are going to run. Like I said, the reliability, being able to dig this thing out of the sand and dirt and know it's still going to run and it's still going to function. You're not going to hurt this thing. This thing's like a Sherman tank, man. It's going to absolutely be there for you. And again, to have this thing here, a light stock that women and children is able to shoot and maneuver. My little 6-year-old boy shot it, done just fine with it. He's 7 now, but I had him on video shooting this thing. There's very little felt recoil. To be able to have 25, 30 rounds, 5.56 or 7.62 by 39. I think either way you go, you're really going to be happy. You're really going to be satisfied. I really wouldn't fret. I really wouldn't worry about it because I can't say, well, you can only have this gun for home defense because this one will go through sheetrock, or you can only have this gun because this one's not reliable, or you can only have this gun because this one's not accurate, or you should only have like I said, that's just not there. And I don't care to tell you about the negatives about a gun. I've reviewed that shotgun. It had all kinds of reliability issues. I told you about that. I'll tell you what I like, what I don't like about a gun. The ultimate is to get what you can have, what you can use, what you can run, what you can shoot, what you can defend your home or your life with That's really all that matters. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks, it doesn't matter what everybody else does. As long as you got a good, reliable firearm that you can protect yourself, that's really what it's all about. So to answer the question and which one should I get, an AR or an AK, I would get the one that I like. I would get the one that I wanted, and I wouldn't worry about it because I don't feel like you're going to be cheating yourself either way. Let's say, if you was comparing a Glock, which one's better, a Glock or a shotgun? Well, the thing of it is, if you're going to concealed carry, man, the Glock's great, the shotgun's terrible. Well, if you're going duck hunting, the shotgun's great, the Glock's terrible. You can't really interchange these two. These two, I feel like you can really interchange and still do everything that you need to do, and one's not going to, you can't use that because that's a gas operating system. You have to have a piston or that magazine's not, they're both going to be great for you. They're both going to run for you. So, like I said, there's so much to take into consideration, and it's just hard to compare these two because, like I said, you're not comparing apples to apples. Different designers. The magazines go in different. They shoot a different round. They got different charging handles. There's just so many things that are different. It's almost even hard to compare these two, but I absolutely am a huge fan of both of them. I really think that you will be too. And like I said, I really wouldn't fret. I really wouldn't worry over, I'm afraid I'm going to make a mistake if I get this or I get that. And if you've never been around either one, I'd go to a gun range and rent them or talk to somebody. Let's see if they'll let you borrow one. Take them out to the range and see which one you like better. See which one you like to shoot. You don't have to get this in a pistol configuration. You can get it in a rifle configuration. And it's the same thing with the AR. You don't have to get that in a rifle configuration. They make theirs in pistol configurations too. So really, it's all personal preference. I hope this helps you. I don't edit videos, so I just have a thought in my mind, and I'll sit down here and I'll just talk. So I probably left a lot of things out. I've probably been redundant and said things more than once. I certainly don't mean to. But I really enjoy both of these platforms. I really enjoy getting to visit with you. I really do. The comments, the meeting you, the people I've met at the NRA conventions. I've met a lot of you. Even made some videos with some other YouTubers, and the friendships I made with this channel is really what it's all about, and just keeping you and your family safe. I never want to seem like I'm talking down to you or like I'm this big great shooter and able to do all this. I'm just an average guy that just loves firearms, loves the 2A community, loves freedom, loves the Constitution, the Second Amendment, and I like to share what little bit I know, with my experiences, my likes, my dislikes. But like I said, a lot of this is my opinion, but the facts about them going through walls and the ballistics gel and the different rounds, what they're capable of is fact. That's for sure. And I'm sure that you're going to like either one of these, and got both of them good for you. If you can only get one, just pick. You're going to be fine. Ask you to do me a huge favor. Would you please like? Would you please share? Would you please subscribe? It really helps me with YouTube and the algorithms, and I really enjoy listening to you and hearing your experiences. There's some of you that's got way more experience than I do, and I appreciate you sharing that. There's some people that's new shooters that's just coming into shooting, or just coming into firearms, or maybe just coming into these kind of rifles and a pistol here. And and I enjoy your comments. Anything I can help you with, anything you'd like to see on a video as far as certain targets or certain guns, or what you want us to talk about, or what you'd like to see on videos, we're here for you. And if you would, just like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section below. As always, keep it family friendly. Like I said, hope this helped. Hope this enlightened you a little bit. I enjoyed both of these guns. I enjoyed talking with you. Enjoyed the coffee chat. May God bless you, the Kentucky Patriot. Signing off.